Today I'm going to run through a 9-step framework that has worked extremely well for me, and even though it might sound a bit boring, it actually can save your life or save your business. Today pretty much what we're going to do is we're going to be talking about solving problems, because I work with aspiring entrepreneurs every single day. We have a lot of them as customers, and I have been one of them, of course. A lot of people around me are aspiring entrepreneurs and just business owners in general. I have seen that one of the biggest commonalities between the people who actually make it and the people who don't is the fact that they are really good at solving problems. And not just that they are really good at solving problems, but they just have a way better approach to it than most of the people. First thing that I just want to clarify is that life is just a wave of problems. Sometimes you have big problems, sometimes you have small problems, sometimes you don't have any problems, but it's always a wave of problems, and it is just part of life. Problems are nothing negative. You shouldn't be upset when problems occur, because it is just a part of life. And if you're not able to accept it, you're gonna struggle a lot in your life. Like, let's say you're building a business. If you are not assuming that there's gonna be a lot of problems, you're not gonna really make it. So you shouldn't see problems as something negative, because, for example, owning a business and building a business, it is just literally solving problems. You're solving problems for yourself when you're growing the business, and you're also solving problems for other people when you're selling your solution, when you're selling your service. Pretty much every single service solves problem for someone. If you always see problems as a negative thing and you just focus on the negative problems in your life, of course your mindset and your thoughts are going to be extremely negative. So your mindset is going to go to really, really bad. It shouldn't be, because it's inevitable. The problems are going to come. So why would you let it ruin your life? It's just part of life. And also, not just problems, but there's always like a next level problem. There's things called crises, and every single person is going to have a crisis every 2 to 3 months in their life. And pretty much a crisis is a huge problem, or you have just multiple normal problems at the same time. Your life just like feels like a crisis. Nothing is going your way. Everything is messy. You're stressed. You can't sleep. Everything is just fucking going to shit. Like, when you have a crisis, just see it as life testing you. If you want to level up, if you want to move to the next stage, if you want to get to 10K a month, 20K a month, whatever you want to do in life, you're going to have to go through some crises and some problems to get there. And actually, one of my old mentors used to say that when God wants to give you a gift, he's going to wrap it into a problem. To really solve a problem or solve a crisis or whatever it might be, you need to stay extremely calm, collected, and you really need to think with your thinking brain. Like, of course, pretty simple. You need to use your thinking brain to solve a hard problem or even a simple problem. And if we get really emotional about it, we're going to lose our thinking brain, and we're going to start using our emotional brain, and we're going to start thinking with all these emotions and getting stressed and all that stuff. So that's why it's extremely important for us to actually stay really calm and collected. That's why this framework has also helped me a lot on this, because when you have a proper framework, when you have proper steps to execute to solve a problem, it's going to help you stay more calm, because you're just following a framework. And one thing though also that I just want to add in before we go into it, a really good and healthy way to actually approach a lot of these problems is with something that my mentor always used to call I take responsibility technique. So pretty much every single time anything happens, even if it's not your fault, just take responsibility for it. So the step number 1, the problem solving framework, when a problem arises in your life or in your business or wherever, first thing that you need to do is you need to define the problem, because it's extremely hard to solve fuzzy problems. If you don't know actually what problem you're solving, how are you ever gonna solve it? So take out a piece of paper, take out a pen, and write what is the actual problem that you're trying to solve. Step number 2, after you have written it down, look at the problem and identify, is it an actual problem? Because sometimes you just might realize that, okay, this isn't a problem, it just might be an opportunity for you to grow as a person or for you to do something different. Maybe it is just a fact of life that you can't control. And if it's something that you can't control, it's raining outside, you can't really solve it. And it's not something that you should be thinking about. When you have written the actual problem down, then actually look at it and think about it. Okay, is this actually even a problem? Or is this an opportunity for something bigger? Or is this something that I can't even affect? Then when you have written the problem and you have identified that it's an actual problem, what you do is you explain the problem. Just write down what the actual problem is and try to identify what is the problem causing. Is it losing you money? Is it wasting your time? Whatever it might be, but actually explain the problem. This is the problem. This is why I think it's happening. This is what it's resulting in. This is how the problem occurs, how often it occurs, and all that stuff. So really try to explain the problem to yourself as well as you can. And of course, if you have a team, it's even better, because then when you are explaining the problem, you're also able to explain it to your team, so they are able to help you way more on actually solving the problem, so you are not all alone on it. When you have done that, you go into step 4. So you figure out how did the problem occur? Like really backtrack to the root cause of the problem. And this of course doesn't mean that you should find someone to blame for it. This problem happened because this person did this X, Y, and Z, or this thing broke, or this client this, or whatever it might be. Really backtrack it to the root cause. How did this even happen? What caused this problem to happen? Did you set expectations wrong with a client? Did you sign a bad business partnership? What did you do, or what someone did that actually made that problem occur? And so really go into the root of the problem. When you have done that, you go into step number 5, finding different solutions. So we all understand that there are better solutions and there are worse solutions. So we need to come up with as many solutions that we can. And not all of them are going to make sense. And that's completely fine on this stage. Let's say that you are not closing your demo calls. You're running a lead gen agency. You're booking discovery calls. You're booking demo calls. But your problem is that you're not closing them. So what you do is you formulate your problem into a question. So how can I close more of my demo calls? How can I close a bigger percentage of my demo calls? And then you just start writing different ideas down. Try to write, like, first 5 ones are going to be easy, or first 3 ones are going to be easy. Next 5 are going to be harder. Next 5 are going to be extremely hard. And next 5 are going to be impossible to come up with. But write as many as you can come up with. Usually the good solutions are the ones that you really have to think about. So really write down everything that you can. Write all the possible things. Okay, I could use a sales deck. I could send them pre-sales call materials. I could have a better VSL. I could set the expectations better on my discovery call. I could do X, Y, and Z. So just come up with different solutions to your problem. Step number 6, okay, you go through the list and see what are the best solutions right now. Do you have the time to actually go through those solutions? Do you have the resources? Some of the solutions are going to cost more. They're going to be harder to execute. They're going to take more time. They don't have that high likelihood of actually working. So go through all the solutions that you wrote out and really analyze what is the best solution to go with in your case. Of course, you're going to be wrong a bunch of times. Sometimes you think this is going to be the best solution and it's not, and it doesn't work. But boom, what you can do is you just come back to the list that you wrote out and you can, okay, I'll try this one. And I think this is actually better because the last time we did things X, Y, and Z, it failed because of reasons A, B, and C. Okay, now I'll pick this solution that doesn't have those problems. Then you go into step number 7. Pick your solution. You actually make a decision. You have analyzed the solutions, you have written them down. So now you actually have to make a decision and pick something. And here you really want to keep in mind, do I need a quick fix? Do I need to quickly fix this problem, even though it might not be the best long-term solution? Or do I actually have the time to take the longer route and go with the best course of action, go with the most sustainable and most reliable one? Sometimes, let's say that you're really losing revenue a lot. There's a really big crisis going on. You might need a really quick fix. Boom, this is easy to execute. It doesn't cost that much money and it's actually pretty fast to do. Okay, this is better for this situation. And sometimes you're just cruising and you're not really like that worried. Then it's better to take the more sustainable route to actually solve the problem and picking a more of a long-form solution. Step number 8, assign responsibility. And this is going to vary a bit depending on if you have a team or not, or what kind of a problem you're actually dealing with. If you're just working alone and it's a business problem, then assign it to yourself. Keep yourself accountable. Make sure that you actually go through with the solution and you track the solution. Make sure that everything goes smooth with it. But if you have a team, then you're going to assign the problem to a team member if they're able to do it, and you make sure that you give them a plan and actually assign to actually execute the solution so you're able to get the problem solved, or at least try out the solution for it. And then step number 9 is set a measure. So you need to have some kind of measure, how you measure how effective the solution has been to the problem. And if it can't be measured, if you can't measure the effectiveness of the solution, then go back to step 7 and pick a different solution, because the actual solution needs to be measurable, or the success of the solution. Those are the 9 steps that you really need to execute to solve any problem. Remember, don't victimize yourself. Stay calm, collected, stay cool, and just think about it with your thinking brain. If you get emotional, you're gonna never solve the problem. This was a little bit of a more of a freestyle video. If you enjoyed this, let me know. I hope you enjoyed. If you liked the content, like. If you didn't like it, press dislike, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you would like me to talk about more on this channel, and I'll try to make all your wishes come true, as long as they're good ideas.